Hey everybody, we are recording, and I'm really excited to welcome our guests here. They've come a long way. They're actually back in North America now, and they've been out of country for quite a while. They go back and forth. So here we go. So located in West Africa, between the Ivory Coast and Sierra Leone, Liberia is one of the poorest countries on the planet. The Universal Outreach Community has been working in Liberia for over 20 years, busy providing clean drinking water, developing new industries, building schools, all to help create a more equitable world. Today, we speak with the founders, Kent Bubbs and his son, Kent Jr., along with his partner, Landis Wyatt. And if you like what we're doing, please like, share, subscribe to our Impact podcast. And our sponsors, we're fortunate to have some sponsors here today for this episode, is Surfrider Foundation, dedicated to the protection and enjoyment of the world's oceans, waves, and beaches, and the Ocean Legacy, helping stop plastic waste from entering our oceans. So welcome.
Thank
Kent,
you.
Landis, and Kent.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So you guys are now, you're in Maui right now for a little bit of a break, right?
Exactly. Maui, not a bad place to be.
not a bad place to be. Exactly.
There's snow here.
Yeah, there's snow where I am. Yeah. So what we do is we start each episode. I apologize, Devin, as you know, he's busy and he's in rehearsal today for a gig that he's doing. So he's unfortunately not with me again today. Which is good. I mean, he's really busy, so I'm really happy for that. But I'm sad because I miss him a lot on the podcast. Okay, I have a few truths and a few lies here, and we have 3 guests, so this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to read each one of these, and I'm going to have to guess which one is the lie. So this is one of you. One of the 3 of you is a national surf champ. Okay. Okay, one or more of you started more than 12 businesses. Okay. And then another one of you, or it could be all of you, surfs alone 3 out of 5 days a week. Oh, that's sad. Yeah. Okay, if that's true. And the last one I have here is I or we or all of us have spent the last 15 years living in Liberia. Wow.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm going to say one of you or all of you or none of you have spent the last 15 years living in Liberia. Okay, so I guess a drum roll or something. Anybody want to comment on any of that? Like the 15 years in Liberia has
So that's a truth. And that has been Kent and I. We have been there for 15 years. We went originally, I think it was when we first went, we were going for a year.
Wow.
15 years ago. So
wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, it's been quite the experience. I think when I initially thought we were going for a year, that was a bit naive to think that we could whip up a school in 1 year, but
yes,
we did get that done. And 15 years later, we've done a lot more than that. So
wow.
years.
Wow. Okay. Well, that one's true. Let's see. I'll pick another one here. How about one of you or all of you started more than 12 businesses? This is a good one for all my entrepreneurial friends out there. I'm looking at you, Kent.
I better put my hand up to that one. Only one of us is old enough to achieve.
So is that true?
Yeah, that's true. I started when I was 15.
Wow.
And was still going at it up until 10 years ago. But then a lot of what I learned in business has been transmitted over to Universal Outreach through
right
Landis. And
right.
So a lot of the business sort of techniques and the skills and what have you that you can develop through business, and other business people would relate to this. Very usable in the world of philanthropy.
Right.
And I think we've shown that with Universal Outreach Foundation.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So now let me see. I'm narrowing this list down here. Okay. One of you surfs alone 3 out of 5 days a week. I'm looking at the you two guys over there.
Well, two of us achieved that. Yeah, both Landis and I, we live in Liberia, quite close to the beach. So before work, we can just, run down and yeah, we're usually the only two in the water.
It would actually
Beautiful.
always be on a weekend when we would have other people in the water with
Yeah.
us.
Well,
So
on a Sunday specifically.
On a
yeah,
Sunday.
Yeah.
yeah. So we have the
Wow.
place to ourselves.
Yeah, if you go up to Robertsport, which is where we have some projects going on, then a lot of locals surf up there. But you could usually get a surf in on your own early in the morning because
Beautiful.
they have yeah, they're busy during the mornings. So
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite
That's
unique in
the
this world.
best.
Imagine
Yeah,
that.
I can't even imagine that. Even I go to Tofino here and it's, it's busy and it's cold water. The water's like 50, 57 degrees, and it's cold and you're wearing, your 4-3 wetsuit and whatnot, which is fine, but there's lots of people around. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's, you can say, I suppose you can, it is kind of sad. It would be nice to surf with a few other people. But
Yeah.
it certainly, I mean, for now, it certainly has been nice to like, it's really peaceful being out there alone. I
Yeah.
feel like it's one of the few places in the world that opportunity exists anymore.
Wow.
But we are working on changing that. So
Wow. And then, so I'm just wondering, is this a lie or not a lie? This next one, national surf champ. Is there a national surf champ? Oh my.
yeah,
There you
so
go.
I have to admit that my reign as the national surf champ of Liberia did end this year. I was
Ah,
by some younger people. I proposed that they have a master's category. When I was the national surf champ, it was on my 50th birthday. So and so now some of these 19 and 20-year-olds are
Yeah.
being, but once I get that master's category, I think I can retain my title. So I was elated that I was beat this past year. And I put up a good fight the first year, and there were some great surfers out there.
yeah.
And I think it was good to give them that motivation to spend a bit more time in the water for some of the women. There's
Right.
not as many women that surf as men. So
Yes.
so this past year, some of my competitors spent a lot more time in the water. So I think it was good that I took the title one year, and I happily handed it over this year.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, it
So
was fun.
I'm going to give up on the lies here. So they're all these things are true. I tried to pick something that I thought may have been a lie. They're all true.
Yeah.
So you know what I've got to say is that I just started a new book. It's this lady that's kind of a bit of a hero of mine. Her name's Lynn Twist. She started the Pachamama Alliance, works with the indigenous people of the Amazon to help preserve their way of life and protect the Amazon. And she also ran the Hunger Project globally, I think, for a lot of years. And I think there was part of it that was based in Liberia as well, like way back, maybe in the 70s or something. But she has a new book out, and it's called Living a Committed Life. And I just finished it yesterday. I was down in the gym and I finished it on audio. And I reflected back and I thought about you guys, and I thought you guys are living completely committed lives to something bigger than yourself, all of you. And I just it's a fantastic thing. It's this place where most people in the planet either won't get to or achieve that. And I just think it's incredible. So what made you, I know you said that you've been, living in Liberia back and forth for about 15 years. So what made you make a stand for the people of Liberia? Why Liberia? Why of all the places in the world, why was it Liberia?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think when you live a life like we live, it's not about us choosing. I think
Yes.
it's more there ends up being a synergy there. And I think in the beginning I was asked to go to East Africa to look at some projects that Universal Outreach could partner on. And then I went on my own to West Africa at the same time through some connections that we had. And then we were asked to come back and start building some schools that turned into a well restoration program that turned into our whole economic development piece. And I think that, like, in the end, when you reflect back, it's not like, oh, let's go to Liberia, let's choose this. I think it's a little bit more about like a synergy that gets created, and you know, it's potentially filling a need for, you know, both Liberia and yourself. And so I think that's really where it came together is through that process more than us choosing something in particular.
Right. Yeah. And again, Liberia, of all the places, it is a fairly poor in our eyes, I guess, poor country. And I read that the average annual income in Liberia is about $600, $610 a year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have universal outreach. So what exactly does universal outreach do? I know you started, like, I like what you said earlier, is that, you know, it you don't really choose it. It kind of chooses you. It chooses, you know, your cause chooses you. And that's what happened when you went there for a year, and then the year became 15 or 20 and kept on going. So what, tell us a little bit about universal outreach. I know, I know where you started, and then how it evolved into what it is now.
Yeah, I think Dad could start at the beginning.
You know, it was interesting. I worked as a volunteer with World Vision for a couple of decades, my wife and I. And I really got a sense for how important giving was. And then with my, I was in business at that time. I was in various businesses at that time. So I was kind of able to merge the what I learned in business and what I learned with World Vision into a thought that, you know, I'd like to do this myself.
Yeah.
And I had friends that were very interested as well, that are still with us. And of course, that's been one of the great benefits, is that I've been able to keep closely in touch with these friends over our 20 plus years. And that's a benefit in itself, particularly when you get to my age. You know, as you get older, you tend to drop off your associates and your friends just because you're not in an active business anymore.
Right.
So that's a tremendous benefit. But all in all, when I look through the businesses that I've been in, and they've all been exciting, I had a passion for them, and they were successful, but nothing that holds a match to the enjoyment and happiness and pleasure I've got out of just seeing UOF helping so many people.
Yeah.
It's where I am. I'm where I wanted to be, and I'm a happy camper.
That's
You know,
great.
and I think to expand on that point, and of living a committed life, I think one of the, and to add to what Kent is saying, is I think one of the interesting things about what we choose to do is that it isn't done by just us.
Right.
Beautiful thing is there's a lot of other people involved in this that live very committed lives. And that is our donor base. And we have had people with us from day one that give every single year. And the commitment that they make is incredible. To the commitment, we have very long-term staff within our organization. And then it allows us to also work with these amazing people in communities that they don't have the same opportunities that we have in Canada. Yeah. So we're like, I just see us as like bringers of opportunity. And then you meet these people in these communities that have ambition, that want something for them, something better for themselves. And then they grab onto that, and they have like, there's so much potential there. And then it's just that they don't have the opportunity. So it's just this great group of people that are committed, from us being boots on the ground to our donors that, you know, stay in Canada and play a very important role, to our team in Liberia, to the communities that we work with. So it's a big commitment all around, but it's very worthwhile.
Yeah. It's I find, you know, it's interesting you say, in that I had the same kind of the same thing. I am a business guy still, and it was business, business, business all the time. And business it can be really hard. And my friends, I was in the entrepreneurs organization for years and years and years, and I've been in various business groups. And one of my buddies was really starting to do a lot of philanthropy work, and we had young kids, and I was just like, Dave, how do you do this? Like you run your business, you've got 3 little kids, and you're building shelters in the downtown east side for women's shelters and all this stuff. How do you do it? He says, well, it didn't start just I didn't build a shelter from day one. I started by sitting down and having a chat with a homeless person on the street and maybe buying him a sandwich. And then that led to this and this and this. And next thing I know, I'm building, a building or taking over a building and turning into a women's drop-in shelter. He said, Nigel, he said, just take the first step. And I know a lot of people listening, and I really honestly believe that everybody wants to help some way, in some fashion, to do good and make our world a better place. I really honestly believe that. But it's just that our lives are so entangled with, we're just, I think in our mind, we're so busy. It's just like, I don't have time to do this. And your life just takes off, and 20 years goes by, and another 20 years goes by, and you haven't been able to do it. But I think it's taking that first step. And it's like what you guys did is like, you went to Kent Jr. there. You said you're in Liberia there. You guys wanted to stay for a year. Well, now it's been like 15 years. You didn't intend on doing that, but look at what's been built around those 15 years. It kind of evolves and it happens, right? And I think that,
right.
Yeah.
It is definitely about taking that first step, because I
Yeah.
can even remember our first year in Liberia, we had this plan and
Yeah.
we got there, and the magnitude of the plan really sunk in. And I remember us having a conversation with Kent's dad saying,
Yeah.
wow, we're here and we have this is a challenging road ahead. And that's exactly what Kent Senior said to us, was just take the first step and then worry about the rest after that.
Right.
So I think, so many things in life do seem daunting. And yeah, if just taking that first step can get your toe in there and you can start working towards something, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
Yeah, and it's incredible, and it's even just volunteering or stepping out. And so I have a question. So if people from say North America wanted to come and volunteer for Universal Outreach, is that a possibility? Or I'm not sure how you guys operate.
It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
I've had the fortune of having some really great people come work with me.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just had a volunteer that was with me for 6 weeks who
Mhm.
is a journalist from England.
Hmm.
So he came and helped collect stories. And then another woman,
Nice.
Emma Johnson, she's in communications. She came over and worked with me again, helping to create some videos and take photographs. So having people that have skills that really benefit us is
Yes.
That's a great opportunity for us to accept volunteers, because it just allows us to expand and really draw on needed skills.
Right. Actually, I'm going to throw up, see if this works. I'm going to share my screen here, and there we go. So can you see these pictures? Okay, I found this picture here. So this is you guys obviously love what you're doing. So I have some photos here. So people listening or watching on our YouTube channel can check it out, and we can just describe to everybody else on all the audio. So you have all these different programs and all these incredible things that you're doing. So maybe you want to tell us a little bit about what Universal Outreach is doing. So I see the slide here. It says Bright Star Scholars. There's a beautiful young girl there, great big smile on her face. So is this educational programs, or what do you?
Yeah, we work sort of, we work off 2 pillars. We work off education and economic development.
Uh-huh.
And those, under the education component, we have our scholarship program.
Yeah.
And we do scholarships for elementary school, high school, university, and trade schools. So there you go.
So I just put up the slide here. Yeah. So it just shows the various different these are scholarships that you just mentioned, right?
Yes, they are. Yeah. We have presently got over 100 scholarships out.
Oh,
we kind of pride ourselves on internal you could say sort of auditing, but we actually provide each scholar with a assessment each year to sort of establish where they are. So when they first come into the program, they go through a year and then they get an evaluation done. So the idea of the evaluation is to, the schools in Liberia are okay, but the level of education is fairly low. So
Yeah.
we do evaluate them each year, and that allows us to better understand where the needs are of each student,
Right.
and we
Right.
help to address those needs for the students. So it's a very comprehensive program. It's not just simply pay your $40 a month and we put someone in school. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that helps to create a really strong program that is very focused on quality of education, as well as, providing as many scholarships as we can. So
Right. So this scholarship, so your donors, they can donate. Is it directly to a certain child, or would it go into a pool, and then how does that work? Yeah.
It does go to a specific student,
Oh,
and
okay, that's
so
interesting.
when
Yeah.
someone gives, they end up getting a little certificate and a thank you letter from one student. And we try to keep donors with a student for as long as possible. We do assessments, and sometimes things change. Sometimes family situations change and a child has to go up country and they can't continue. So we do our best to keep people matched with a scholar. It's a nice feeling for the scholar and the donor to have that connection to each other. So yeah, we do our best to facilitate that.
Yeah, I think that's great, because I know there's the plan, a plan that helps various towns all over the world, right? But I think that with that it goes into a pool. But we do get reporting on certain children. But I think it's really nice for both the donor and the student to be able to, have a little bit of communication back and forth. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks.
And okay, so there's so many different things that you guys, so I just can't believe, 15 years ago, you went over there and had no idea. Now there's all these different, so now there's the honey business that you guys are also running there, right?
We've been involved in beekeeping now for over 10 years. And so it started really, again, we were earlier talking about sort of like passions and things, and beekeeping has always been something I've been interested in. And then I had dreams of being a beekeeper, and then we moved to Liberia. I was like, oh boy, now what happens with that dream? So started to actually research a little bit and realized that there could be a great opportunity to develop the industry in Liberia, which at that time didn't exist at all. We discovered 4 beekeepers who had gone to Ghana to do some training, and that was it. So we started there, and to date we've trained over 2,000 beekeepers.
Wow.
In beekeeping. Yeah, we put over $250,000 back into the hands of farmers in the purchasing of honey. We've helped to develop a business called Liberia Pure, which is a Liberian-owned business, and it does amazing. Gladys Freeman is the business manager and is just the most amazing leader, manager, owner that you could ever ask for in a business. Cecil Wilson is also one of the owners and is a very strong support of the business. So it's done really well. It's also diversified now into coconut oil.
Yes, I've seen the coconut here too.
Do lots of different products. And these are all actually Bidella. We've helped her to start a peanut butter business, and she's doing really well. The next slide you had there is Joshua from Redemere Chocolate.
So this is your business accelerator program, which I think this is fantastic too. So are these like micro loans, or what is that what
some of them have loans out, some of them we just help with capacity building, some of them we help with packaging. It comes in different forms.
We do have a business development program. So based on all the learning that we've done with helping Liberia Pure, we were able to
Mhm.
start up a startup and a business accelerator program. And both of those people that you see on the screen have participated in those programs.
Right, right. Oh, and here's your beekeeping program again. So everybody with the beekeeping gear and garb on.
Yeah. That's one of I love that photograph. It's one of our
It's great.
first trainings. And there's actually a woman there that's holding that. She's from Cameroon and
Mhm.
she came and helped our beekeepers in the beginning when we were training trainers so that they
Right.
could go around the country. So she was a very enthusiastic beekeeper and she was asking them to point out the brood in the hive. You know,
Okay.
and to add to this, one thing, with Liberia Pure and with our beekeeper training is we've been at that for a long time.
Mhm.
And that's something, we have a little promotional video on our website on
Yes.
universaloutreachfoundation.org, and it's called When Words Become Actions.
Mhm.
And one thing we emphasize in that is that good development work, it takes time. And to go in and try to do a 2-year program and walk away with results is really challenging.
Yeah.
So one of our strengths is because we are mainly privately funded, that we can go in and we can give things the time they need. And as you know, from being a business owner yourself, that, Liberia Pure, if we worked with them for 2 years and then just stepped
Mhm.
away, businesses evolve and change. And we still speak with Gladys on a regular basis to discuss the new challenges our business is facing.
Right.
And so it's one of the things that I'm really proud of that we do, and that is giving everything the time it needs to become successful, because things take longer than you think. And
Yes.
it's not, there's
Always.
no magic solutions. It's
Always.
about hard work.
Yeah, it
and
is.
growth
Yeah.
and-
Commitment. Hard work and commitment for sure.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
One
persistence.
thing I found, Nigel, most interesting about the honeybee industry,
Mhm.
and the way Universal Outreach is approaching it, is that the beekeepers that we're training are now
Yeah.
training others.
Yeah.
And what they do is take a little bit of the action for helping new beekeepers work through the program. And so it's not just the 2,000 beekeepers we've trained, but now we figure there could be well over 5,000 beekeepers out there that have been affected by our training program in one way or another.
Wow. Wow. Incredible.
Also, we talk about the idea of, commitment, and it seems to be a bit of a theme of our podcast. And
Mm.
I think that, again, that goes back to business principles. And I mean, you of all people who is also a businessman understands the importance of making commitment. And I think it's really, that's so much of it comes down to that, right? It's like,
Yes.
are you willing?
Yeah.
And
To be 2 feet in or forget
Yeah.
it, really.
yeah, because in the interesting thing about development work is you're playing with people's lives.
Yeah.
And it's not a small thing. If you make a mistake, it has huge ramifications. And
Mhm.
so back to what Landis was saying is, it takes time. It takes time to ease into something. It takes time to listen. It takes time to understand what the true challenges are that need to be overcome.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Takes time to build relationships. So it's really is something that requires that massive amount of commitment in order to reach any sort of level of success.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Oops.
so the coconut oil was an extension of the beekeeper training. We saw what beekeeping had done for the nation, and there's a lot of coastal communities that were in need of jobs. That's where the coconut trees are. So we also
Mhm.
got into coconut oil production.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then here we go, get into the surf tourism, which is really, really interesting to me as well. It's a little cherry on top here.
Yeah.
So what are you doing here with this is tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the surf side of things.
So I think we basically focus on niche industries, and Kent and I have been
Uh-huh.
surfing in Liberia for 15 years. And we surfed with these kids since they were just since before they surfed. We were out there when they were just kids going to school, asking, for copybooks whenever we went back to our car. And so Robertsport is a fishing destination. It's a fishing community, and most people earn their living from that. It's a hard way to earn a living. And there's a lot of night fishing. There's a lot of danger. And so a lot of these kids that surf also fish. And they just over time came to us and were saying that they, they would love to earn money from surfing. And Kent, I guess you can take it from there because you started advising them.
Yeah, about 10 years ago, I sort of really started to say, you guys need to get a piece of land, because we've surfed in other places around the world, and often what happens is the kids get left out, and so or the clubs and the locals get left out of the bigger tourism scene. And so I had seen that before, and I was heavily encouraging the surf club to acquire land, which they did. And that's really where it all started to take off. And that was about 2 years ago now.
Right.
And so we helped them to strengthen their club, with bylaws, and help the structure of the club, help them to understand, a system that benefits everybody. And then we went to work to start fundraising for phase 1 of the project, which is what is currently there. So there's a restaurant, a multi-purpose building, a bathroom facility, and like a clubhouse.
Right.
And and then we're currently on some phase 2 projects, which is the camping platforms.
Yeah.
4 camping platforms going in. We've, the whole idea behind this is income generation. So the restaurant hires people. They have now an official place to run surfboard lessons, surf lessons, rent surfboards. We got them a canoe for fishing. So now they have income for local surf club members in the fishing industry. But a bigger canoe, one where they can, get a decent income. They'll also be able to use that canoe for surf tourism. So there's places down the coast that are hard to walk to. So they'll be able to take surfers out. They can use the canoe for snorkeling, sightseeing. They can take tourists out fishing. So there's lots more that they can do with that now. And then phase 3 is the accommodations. So we're moving towards that, again, slow and steady, and see how they manage the existing infrastructure and resources. And then, we'll work our way into the accommodations component in hopefully a year or 2 from now.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that. It's actually some good videos that you guys, which we'll post as well, on here, so people can check out the videos of what you've been doing in the building of the surf camp and everything there. I don't know how old that one is, but I don't know if the restaurant was finished in that one yet or not.
I think it was there. It was still
was there, was it?
Yeah. And the neat thing about the surf tourism project is there is a group of surfers that have gotten behind this. There's actually like a new group of donors to the organization that aren't our traditional donors that heard about this. And it's been really interesting to see how people that connect with surfing got behind this and absolutely came out of the woodwork and have provided so much support for this program. And so it's so nice to have something, once again, that connection with other people. And we've got this great tight network of people supporting this. We're always looking for new people to join us. There's all sorts of little ways to give to the project. Right now, we're asking people to help support the surf competition in May by donating $50.
I saw that. Yeah.
To ensure that a person can come attend it, because although there are surfers throughout the nation, but it's not always affordable for them to come attend the competition. So we try to raise money so that they can come attend and compete and be part of that event. Right.
Actually, we shouldn't talk about surfing or anything on this because this is a little jewel. We don't want anybody to know about it. No, we do. We
also have other programs that we run. There's an organization out of South Africa called Waves for Change. It's a surf therapy program. And so we've implemented that in Robertsport as well, which seems to have really taken off in the last couple of months. And so it's really about creating a safe space for, the kids of Robertsport to come to twice a week, express themselves. It teaches them how to manage anger. It teaches them how to manage themselves with other people. Poverty is a very stressful environment. And it just gives them an outlet to express that stress and, you know, have everybody listening and create a safe space where they can do that. So
Yeah.
we're really fortunate to have that implemented as well. It's been implemented down in Harper in the Southeast with great success. The kids down there are really, you know, turning into just great adults, you know, people with compassion, people who care about one another. So yeah, it's really
The Waves for Change has created this environment where it's like it's a group where they all come together to have each other's back and to hold space for each other, and then surfing is like a bonus outcome on the other side, which is really interesting because in Robertsport it's surfing, and then now they're going into holding better, more comfortable spaces for each other. So
I've seen quite a few surf movies over the years, and I don't know, it was one Endless Summer 2 or Step into Liquid, where there's a group of guys that go to Northern Ireland and they bring the the Southern Ireland and Northern. This is when there was having issues there still, and they brought the Catholics and the Protestant kids together, and they took them surfing, and it basically just broke down all the barriers, and kids are kids, and it didn't matter what side of the fence that they were on. It really, and there's been so many instances where sport and surfing has really helped kind of bring people together and forget about their differences and bond and create community, right? So I think it's just wonderful what you're doing. And and so if people were going to, if they wanted to kind of visit or come to the surf camp, what would be the routing? How would you fly from North America out to get to where you guys are?
Right now, if you're flying from Vancouver, you basically go Vancouver to Montreal as an example. Vancouver to Montreal to Brussels, and then Brussels down.
Down, right? Okay.
Right down to Monrovia. There's a lot of Liberians actually that come surfing, so it's a bit closer if you're from Europe. But that is the routing. It is a little bit of a long flight, but it's an experience, and we highly recommend it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Nigel, one thing that impressed me about this program was that being that I was in the hospitality business for 20 years.
Yeah.
I thought right away when this idea came to mind, I said, how in the world do you take a fishing village remote from the basic core of population in Liberia? And how do you bring them up to the international hospitality standards that are what's acceptable in that industry? And what they did is, and you guys can elaborate on this better than me, but they took four. Well, why don't you tell them about how you brought?
Yeah, we took the surf club appointed 4 youth to come and live with us in Monrovia for 8 months, and we put them through hospitality school. We learned serving, catering, management, and and it's proven to be one of the best investments we've made in Robertsport. They're just doing an amazing job of taking care of the restaurant, managing the business. Just been in contact actually with Brahima Gross, who is the business manager there today, and we're working together on accounting practices and just transparency and making sure that everything is above board. So it's been a great experience for all of us. To have them living with us for 8 months was also fun.
Yes. And then you also sent me, or I don't know if you sent me this. This is on your site, but also I saw it on another site. Water Get No Enemy. So this is I haven't seen the film yet. I have to see this film. Sounds like a fantastic film. You want to talk about?
There's a number of great films on surfing in Liberia, and Water Get No Enemy is a really good film. They have been a great supporter of the project in Liberia. Arthur Bourbon is a surfer in that film, and he's really supportive of everything that goes on there. There's also what's the other one? Sliding Liberia is another great example. It's a film on surfing in Liberia. That's a fun one to watch. So there has been some attention in CNN and some places around surfing, and a lot of that was focused after the surf competition last year. But it's getting stressed. We're seeing more people coming to Liberia.
Wow.
Once again, just like with beekeeping, it's a long-term process. So, we've done some hospitality training. We're going to do more hospitality training. Like we've taken that first step, but it's going to take us time to like get to this ultimate end product, but we're all committed and we'll get there. So
Yeah.
time.
I think it's just wonderful. And I think it's wonderful what you're doing and how it all started, the story. It's the, I just love hearing about this. And for a lot of listeners, people, like I said, people really want to help, but it's just like, how do these guys do? They're living in Liberia. They're doing all this. It's incredible. That can't be me. Well, it actually can. It's just taking that first little step and building, and you don't have to have a game plan. You just have to go and just be committed to it, just like you guys are. And I think, with Africa these days too, with what we're seeing again in Somalia and this new famine that's breaking out. There's the famine in Ethiopia in 1994. I was actually in Ethiopia 2-3 years ago, just before COVID, with our family, and we went to the Korum Plateau where the famine was with our friends that were actually involved in getting the film out, the film that got to the United States, which became We Are the World and everything, with the Michael Jackson videos and then the big concert. And we were with the son of the guy that Mohammed Amin that got that out, and standing on the Korum Plateau. And it was the most amazing thing where Devin here, my co-host, this was about 6 or 7 years. Oh no, it was probably 5 years ago. We're on the Korum Plateau where, I don't know, 1 million people died of famine. And all these kids are now probably the grandkids of the survivors. So the grandkids of the survivors are running out onto this giant plateau, and we had a little soccer ball, and we started playing soccer with them. And then, no, rugby ball, I think it was. And then Devin started doing a haka, a rugby haka, and he had like 50 kids all mimicking him doing the haka, and they were chasing him around. I just started crying. I just thought it was the most incredible thing just to see, everything come back, and everything come back. And I think what you guys are doing in Liberia is you're giving people tools, you're educating people, helping them, working with them, and to create these sustainable businesses, these sustainable businesses, from your honey business to your education to your coconut oil and to the surfing. And when this type of thing happens, it's a little bit more difficult for famines to creep their way in if the people are able to help themselves, as opposed to sit with, our hands out looking, for help, or they're able to help themselves and help other people and help their community, which will help another community, and so on, so on, so on. So I think, what you're doing is absolutely amazing. And, my hat's off to all of you guys. So,
Nigel, I think too that it's important to give credit where credit's due. We've had to jump a lot of hurdles. What these kids have been through, and we don't present this on our website or anywhere else, but it was no easy job.
No,
it was very difficult.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, go ahead.
And it was the spiritual component. It was, albeit at times we felt the spirit was moving pretty slowly. We are definitely a spiritually driven organization.
Sure.
And it's proven over the 20 plus years we've been in this industry. And I just have to give credit to that. We wouldn't be here today without that. And you can go into something like this not really believing. Yes. But you don't come out of it not believe. Believe me.
I mean, you're so right. I mean, there's times you're in there and you what the heck am I doing? But you just have to have faith. You have to have faith that something good is going to come out of the other end. And I've ran into a lot of things myself, because I been involved in all these different philanthropies and things, and our family has, and then there's times where I just sit there and I go, I shared this story before. I was in Guatemala with my family back in 2012. And I was sitting up against a kapok tree, big old kapok tree. And one of the people that we was with, he said, just go into the jungle and just contemplate on, what you're doing with your life and all this other stuff. And I sat there and I'm like, I try all this. I volunteer, I help, and our kids, we go and do all this stuff, but does it really make a difference? Does it really make a difference? Like I think I'm making a difference, but I don't know. I really don't know. And I was a little bit kind of down because you go up and down when you're doing this stuff. And I sat against the kapok tree and I had a bracelet on my wrist, and I saw a stream of cutter ants all going right by my foot. And I don't know how I didn't step on them, but I didn't. And they're going past my foot, and I took my bracelet down and I just stuck it in their path, and I blocked them. And I sat there and I watched and I watched and I watched. And they kind of bumped up against it. And then they slowly figured it out and they all went around it and they carried on around my bracelet. And the stream went for, 500 yards and then it disappeared into the jungle. And I looked at it and I thought, that's what it is. That's what it's got to be. There's all these people around the world that are doing good and helping and trying to help. And they have their ups and downs. And at times we think that we just can't make it, but it's not just us. We're a collective. We're a massive collective around the globe doing little bits of good. Somebody sitting down with a person having a sandwich, a homeless person, giving them $5 or buying them a sandwich. Somebody doing what you guys are doing. Somebody, like Bill Gates, which is, whatever, he's doing these injections and all this stuff. It all of us as a collective, like the cutter ants, we do make a difference. And that's what I stood up from the kapok tree and I'm like, no, you know what? I am making a difference. And I marched back out and I felt good. And I was just like, okay, that's what it is. That's what it is. I may not see that person in London. I may not see that person in Liberia, that organization, or in South America, but collectively we are changing the world. So, thank you. Thank you so much for what you guys are doing. You're total inspiration. And just Kent, it's just a pleasure seeing you again, and not bumping into each other on the ice rink. He used to skate circles around me, absolutely circles. He'd be gone, head down, you'd be gone. He'd be gone. I don't think so, but thank you. I'll take it. Yeah. So
Thanks very much for having us on your show today, Nigel. We
no, and aloha, mahalo, or whatever you guys say over in Hawaii. Yeah, and enjoy your time, well-deserved break, and thank you for all you do. And what we're going to do is we'll put all of the links in all our posts, all of the video links, everything there, so everybody can check you out. And if you're looking at a great organization to help donate, help these guys out. They're doing incredible things to help our planet. So thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you for all you do, Nigel.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Again, it's a collective.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
All
Take
right,
care.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.